Stefan Diggs officially had his coming out party as a Patriot on Sunday against the Panthers. We start today's episode by breaking down his performance and tell you what it could mean for the rest of this season. This is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I am your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England, been covering the Patriots for the past 16 years. I'm also the co-host of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles and a sports talk show host, veteran. Coming up, it's report card day. After the first quarter of the season, we'll give you our grades for an offense that has surprised early. But before that, we've got our grades for a defense that has fallen short of expectations and a special teams unit that's had mixed results. But first, Stefon Diggs, difference maker, has officially arrived as a New England Patriot. We appreciate you joining the show, making us your first listen, and for being an everydayer. The Locked On Patriots podcast is a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Stefon Diggs, unequivocally, had his best game as a Patriot against the Panthers on Sunday, had his biggest impact within the offense against the Panthers on Sunday. 6 catches, 101 yards. For the first time, he breaks 100 yards as a Patriot. And Stefon Diggs brought juice. He brought life to this passing game at the wide receiver position. Juice and life that we hadn't seen since Kayshon Boutte week 1 against the Raiders. Let's start with Stefon Diggs' versatility, because on Sunday, it shined. And we talked about this when the Patriots signed Stefon Diggs. We talked about it before camp, during camp, all the way through up until the preseason and the final preseason game, and right leading into week 1 against the Raiders. Stefon Diggs brings versatility to this offense. In Houston in 2024, he lined up in the slot a bunch. That was pretty much his responsibility. But we know from his stops in Minnesota and Buffalo that he can also play on the outside towards the boundary as the X receiver. Now, that's not his best spot anymore because he's not as explosive as he used to be, but he can still play the position. He can still do those types of things that you need an X receiver to do. So he can play in the slot, he can play outside at the X, and he can play the position that the Patriots utilize at wide receiver when they move that person around all over the place, and that's the Z. Stefon Diggs can play the slot, the X, and the Z. And we saw that play out on Sunday, and it's been playing out through the first month of this season. I mean, don't get it twisted. Some people look at Stefon Diggs on Sunday, and they try to tell you that he played in the slot more. He didn't. His slot usage was not up. It just wasn't. That's a fact. Now, he played a more percentage of the snaps in week 4 than he had played before. That was a change. No doubt that was one of the changes. But the versatility, that's what Josh McDaniels is going to do. That's what Josh McDaniels always does within his offense. He loves wide receivers that can move around. He loves that kind of versatility because you can exploit matchups. If you want to try to get Stefon Diggs on a linebacker or a safety, you can put him in the slot. If you want to get him against an outside corner that you don't think highly of, you can line him up at the X near the boundary. If you want to just use him as that chess piece and move him all over the place to confuse the defense, then you can do that by playing Stefon Diggs in the Z. And so the slot, the X, the Z, it doesn't matter. Stefon Diggs, he's out there. He's playing all 3. Now, what did matter on Sunday against the Panthers was not the slot usage. It was actually how the Patriots targeted Stefon Diggs. They targeted him downfield, and this was a tangible change from what was happening through the first 3 weeks. Evan Lazar, Patriots.com, wrote the following: Stefon Diggs' average target depth increased from 6.9 yards in the first 3 games to 12.8 yards versus the Panthers. Targeting him deeper down the field. hoping that he can create some chunk plays. And you can do that in different ways. I don't think any of us would look at Stefon Diggs and call him a speedster. He's not a burner, especially after the ACL injury and surgery. He's not out there clocking a 4.2, folks. It's not his deal. But there's a lot of different ways, if you target him downfield, that he can hurt a defense and he can attack a defensive back. And there's a number of things that you can do if you're Josh McDaniels within the scheme that can also scheme him open. The big play, the first big play of the day when Stefon Diggs runs that crossing route. What happens is you have Pop Douglas in the slot, you have Kyle Williams outside, and those guys clear out that area. And Diggs comes across underneath and runs that excellent route, beats the corner, chunk play. That's scheme, that's route running. He can also beat his man depending on who his man is. And we saw that deep down the field, back shoulder throw. He got about a half a step. He didn't completely roast the cornerback, but he got about a half a step. And then they were almost even as Drake let the football go, and Drake Maye throws it down. And Diggs, again, it's the details and what he can do. He understands. He reads the situation. He knows Drake Maye's throwing that football towards the sidelines where only he can get it. He's there for the back shoulder, chunk play, explosive play on 4th down. So there's different ways that you can utilize Stefon Diggs, get him open, and there's different ways that he's going to get open on his own. And given the circumstances, I've been patient with Stefon Diggs from the very beginning. I have said on this podcast, in many other podcasts and shows that I've done over the past 4 or 5 months, I have said this over and over and over again. Stefon Diggs, give him 4 to 6 games at least and see if that rust can get knocked off. Brandon Ayuk, who had an ACL surgery, is still not playing for the San Francisco 49ers, and he might not play for another month, if not month and a half. Just in the past 10 days, the Niners have come out and said that Brandon Ayuk is not close yet to returning. But here we are with Stefon Diggs already playing, already ready to go, ready for week 1. But give him some time, because this recovery from the injury and surgery that he had, especially given the fact that he's in his 30s, it's going to take some time. And I feel like we started to see the turn. Stefon Diggs started to turn that corner against the Panthers. And given the circumstances, 19 catches for 213 yards through the first 4 weeks, I'll take it. That's almost 5 catches a game. I will take that production given what he has gone through. And let's not just pay attention to the catches and the yards, because Stefon Diggs really from week 1 has been a main component of this offense, and he has been a security blanket for Drake Maye. How many times have we seen Drake Maye go to Stefon Diggs on 3rd down? How many times have we seen him go to Stefon Diggs on 4th down? I remember 2 instances right away. When he went to Stefon Diggs 4th down, 3rd down, it's had to be 5, 6, 7 times. Stefon Diggs has come through in the critical moments. He's made some big catches through the first month of this season already. And he's got sure hands. And here's the best thing. When Stefon Diggs met with the media, he told the media that as far as comfort level goes within this offense, he's a 5 out of a 10. Now, could he be doing the old shtick, wide receiver shtick? Of course. He could be underselling to overperform. Say, oh, yeah, it's just a 5 out of 10. If he comes out and says 9 out of 10, then you say, well, he doesn't have much room to improve, right? But there is something to be said about chemistry, and I mentioned this, I think, during the live post game on Sunday after the win. The biggest part of that 4th down play was the chemistry, the fact that Drake Maye trusted Stefon Diggs downfield to throw that back shoulder, and the fact that Stefon Diggs had that chemistry with his quarterback to make sure that pass was completed. That's the kind of chemistry that you build through the early portion of the season. Now, do I think that Stefon Diggs is going to be a consistent alpha? No, I don't think Stefon Diggs is going to be, forcing defenses to double him. He's not that type of receiver anymore. But do I think that Stefon Diggs could be a number 2 guy? 100%, no doubt in my mind. And do I believe that if Stefan Diggs stays healthy, he will have an impact and continue to have an impact and at times have a significant impact for this offense? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. All right, it's time for Professor Cattles to give out grades for a defense that's fallen short of expectations. That's next on Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's talk about Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes, they sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how they craft every model. Stunning detail that will bring you back to the 2 dynastic runs in New England. Yeah, remember the good times. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. And here's something that's really cool. All-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, so you can drive with confidence through almost any season. And yes, we know how important that is up in the Northeast, being able to drive through almost any season. Like our players, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. When we get ready for a season, we always say on paper. We think this is going to happen on paper. This is what we think this offense will end up doing because of what they have on paper. And we say on paper because you don't truly know what's going to happen until the games are actually played. I know, crazy idea. And the defensive expectations for me, I thought this defense would be hovering around, let's say, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th in the league by the end of the year. Chance to be in the top 10. Now, let's all be transparent about this. Let's be fair and say Christian Gonzalez, their best defensive player, missed the first 3 weeks. That matters. There's no doubt that matters. Let's also acknowledge and appreciate the fact that Terrell Williams, who was supposed to be the defensive coordinator for this football team, was the defensive coordinator for, what was it, 1 week? And now we found out that unfortunately Terrell Williams has been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and certainly we wish the best for him. Thoughts, prayers. He is in the best place, best region to get treatment in the New England, Boston area. So let's hope Terrell Williams gets through this and will end up being just fine by the end of the year. And we can look forward to him being back in 2026 in the position that he was supposed to be holding this year. But when you lose your defensive coordinator after week 1, for all intents and purposes, and your best player doesn't play the first 3 weeks, I do think it's fair to bring up those points. But still, you need more from this defense. And maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, second quarter, third quarter, maybe the Carolina Panthers, second quarter, third quarter, steps forward, progress. But we got to give the grades. We got to give the grades for what we have seen so far. That's how this works. So Professor Cattles is going to get to work. Let's get to work. Defensive line, outside linebacker. Let's just look at the D-line first. I'm actually going to give the defensive line a B+. Without this defensive line playing at a high level, and they haven't consistently done it from like first quarter through the fourth quarter, but without this defensive line playing at a high level at times, I'm frightened by what this defense would have looked like through this first month. Because most of the time, when the defense shows up, it's because that defensive line shows up. So I'm giving them a B+. I think Milton Williams and Christian Barmore have been good to really good. I thought Barmore was terrific on Sunday. Milton Williams has had his huge moments so far already through 3 weeks, made 2 or 3 impactful plays against the Panthers. Of course, finished the Miami game with that sack on Tua Tagovailoa. So Williams and Barmore pretty much as advertised. Harold Landry has had a great start. Now he took a step back against the Panthers. It's 1 game. His first 3 games more than make up for that. So Harold Landry so far has been a find. Caleb Chason has been a mixed bag. He's had some pressures. He's made some plays against the run. He's given up some runs. And obviously, we still need to send Caleb on the memo of where he needs to line up on the line of scrimmage so he stops getting offsides called on him, which is inexcusable. He's been a mixed bag. I think Anthony Jennings, given his time, has been a mixed bag. Keon White has been a mixed bag. I thought Keon White took a step forward against Carolina. I thought he popped a little bit more in that game than he has in prior games this year. And, of course, he had to get through an illness as well, so we can't forget about that. But I thought Keon White gave you some hints of positivity in that Carolina game. So, overall, defensive line, I'm giving you a B+. This is where it gets pretty ugly. Inside linebacker, D. I don't know how you can give them anything higher than a D right now. I'll give credit to Robert Spillane because the last 2 games, I believe Spillane has been better, if not much better. The first 2 weeks, they were rough. You watch those games over again, and Robert Spillane is doing some things that just frankly left me incredulous watching. But he has been better the past 2 weeks. He was better against the Steelers, and he was better against the Panthers. So hopefully the funkiness within Robert Spillane's play is gone, and he's set to go for the rest of the season. So I will give credit to Robert Spillane for the last 2 games. I will also give some credit to Jack Gibbens. Now, has Gibbens been awesome? No. Has he been great? No. Has he been good? Maybe. I thought he was pretty good against Pittsburgh. I thought he was okay against Carolina. That's about as far as I'll go. But comparing Jack Gibbens to Christian Ellis, Jack Gibbens could be considered one of the best linebackers of all time. Christian Ellis has stunk out loud. There's no other way to say it. He's been bad. He's bad at the start of games. He's bad during the middle of the game. He's bad at the end of the game. And yes, he'll make 1 or 2 positive plays, but they are far outweighed by the 3, 4, 5 negative plays that he makes. It has not gotten much better at all for Christian Ellis. He has not been good this year. Marte Mapu, given spot duty, he's been meh. And I think the easiest way to describe the linebacker position right now is that I never thought I would be sitting here saying, can't wait for Jelani Tavai to get back. Maybe Jelani Tavai could give them a little bit more life. Maybe Jelani Tavai and Robert Spillane is the answer. We'll see. I don't think he's the answer in coverage, that's for sure. But I give the linebackers a D. Inside linebacker, D. Cornerbacks, D. You might think that's a tough grade. I don't. Too many flags on this secondary. Alex Austin, multiple flags. Carlton Davis, multiple flags. It feels like Carlton Davis gets 2 flags a week. And we know that he likes to play physical, but you can't be getting 2 flags thrown on you every single week if you're a cornerback. They've given up big plays. Now, the last couple of weeks, they've cleaned up the big plays. I think that's more about the lack of explosiveness in the Carolina and Pittsburgh offense. But we can't just forget about what happened the first 2 weeks. This first quarter grade is about all 4 games, baby. And that Vegas game was an abomination. It wasn't good at all against Miami. So between the flags and the big plays, I think the safeties, Craig Woodson and Jalen Hawkins, they have been up and down. Kyle Duggar, when he's been given snaps, when he replaced Jalen Hawkins on Sunday, Jalen Hawkins left that game with a hammy. I thought it was up and down from Kyle Duggar. So the safety spot has been inconsistent. And you just hope that the Christian Gonzalez impact helps this entire secondary and gets them to where we thought they would be at, which is 2 mostly lockdown corners on the outside, which will free up an awful lot of things for this defense. So I don't think, I said this last week, I do not think Christian Gonzalez is a magic elixir, but I do think he helps. I still think they have talent on that side of the football, and I hope that they improve as time goes on. And I hope they look more like the second and third quarter versions against the Steelers and Panthers than the first and fourth quarter versions. Now, of course, the Panthers game, fourth quarter, garbage time, whatever. Special teams. I want to get to the offense in just a couple of minutes, but let me give my special teams grades here. I give special teams a B+. Very tough start, but I feel like they've settled in. Their return game has been good, if not great. Marcus Jones alone, fantastic against the Panthers. Antonio Gibson's kickoff return for a touchdown against Miami right after they gave up a punt return for a touchdown from the Dolphins. So the return game has been good. I'd give it about a B+. Coverage has been good. I'd give coverage, aside from that punt return breakdown, I would give the coverage a solid B or so. In the kicking, I would give a C+. Andy Borregales off to a bad start, but he's making his extra points now consistently, and he's only missed one field goal this season. So I'm actually going to give Andy Borregales a C+. So special teams, I'll give him a B+. Maybe you could slide it back to a B, but I feel like they're trending in the right direction. Offense. The offense is rolling, but there's a but. Some of the grades on that side of the football might actually surprise you. That's next as we continue with today's episode of Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. You can build parlays. You can try player props, even follow the live lines during the games. Maybe a team jumps up earlier than anticipated. Maybe you take advantage of that. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. Again, right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Pick a bet. Put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can link all your accounts to Monarch, immediately spot a few subscriptions that you're not even using. Canceling those alone can save you money every single month. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKDOWNNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKDOWNNFL. I'm not going to be disingenuous. I'm going to be honest and objective when I give out my grades. That's what Professor Cattles is all about. So I'm going to start this discussion about the offense and the grades I'm going to give the offense with an obvious point. Competition does matter. And I think it would be disingenuous to not mention the competition that this Patriots offense has faced through the first 4 weeks. We talked about the first month or so being somewhat light. And the Vegas defense, Miami, Pittsburgh, Carolina, none of those defenses have been very good. Carolina's defense was the best defense the Patriots had faced through the first 4 weeks, and they had multiple starters out, and they're not even that good. They got good cornerbacks. That's pretty much it. But we do have to be fair to this offense because you can only play who's in front of you. You can only play the schedule. And inevitably, we grade on the work here. We grade on the work. And this Patriots offense easily has exceeded my expectations to start this season. I had said multiple times before the season kicked off, I thought the ceiling of this Patriots offense, they'd get up to about 15th or 16th, right about smack dab in the middle of the league. And they've been better than that. They have been better than that, especially after week one. And, week 3 with the turnovers just killed them, but I digress. They have exceeded my expectations. So let's start with the offense, and let's start with the guy. Let's start with the man, Drake Maye. I'm going to give Drake Maye an A-. Now, some of you might say, how not an A? How not an A+? Well, again, we are grading the first 4 games. So the second half against Vegas, that counts within our grade. The 2 Pittsburgh turnovers, that counts within our grade. But don't get it twisted. He's an A-. Drake Maye has mostly been great this year. He has looked comfortable in the new system. He has played with poise and confidence for the most part. He has been taking the profits that we hoped that he would start taking. He has been utilizing his legs, extending plays, staying as a thrower like he did to Hunter Henry on Sunday for that 31-yard touchdown pass that he threw. How many times has he scrambled to convert and move the chains? And he has brought those explosive plays to the offense. He has showed us some wild throws and some really good runs. And here's the key, with less turnover-worthy plays. And the numbers are bananas. They are absolutely bananas. Kevin Cole posted the quarterback efficiency through week 4. All the quarterbacks, minimum of 60 dropbacks, EPA per play. Drake Maye is 3rd in the NFL behind Jordan Love and Josh Allen. Rich Rybar, Lord Reeves on Twitter from Sharp Football. He posted the following before Monday Night Football's doubleheader. Drake Maye on 3rd downs. The best passer rating at 125.5. The best completion rate at 80.6%. 2nd, yards per attempt at 9.6. I mean, he's been great on 3rd down. He's been really good on 4th down. Pro Football Focus posted Drake Maye in his last 3 games. His adjusted completion rate is 84.9%. 84.9% adjusted completion rate. 788 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's total yards, by the way. 8 touchdowns, 1 pick, a passer rating of over 125. And check this out. Jack Andrade, who is the manager research at NFL Network and NFL Media, posted Drake Maye has had a 75-plus completion percentage and thrown 2-plus touchdown passes in 3 consecutive games. The only player in NFL history with a longer streak within a single season is Tom Brady. He had a 4-game streak for the Patriots in the first month of the season of his first MVP season in 2007. And you can look at the analytics. Drake Maye is crushing the analytical world. A-. Running back, I'm giving you a D. Some might think that's tough. Couldn't care less what some think. They deserve a D. The Pittsburgh Nightmare alone sinks this grade. But I think they've had missed opportunities. I think there have been some lanes that they've missed. They run into some piles instead of cutting back. Travion Henderson, with the amount of flags that he has picked up, he had another one on Sunday when he messed up the pass protection yet again, which has been a problem. Antonio Gibson had his fumble. So the running backs, I'm giving them a D. They need to be much better. If the running backs could give this offense more, this offense could be even more devastating because they're just not getting a lot of run game. And a lot of that falls on the running backs. And I'll get into that a little bit more when I get to the offensive line. Wide receiver, I'm giving a C. Kayshon Boutte, week 1, really good. Stefon Diggs against Carolina, really good. What else? Pop Douglas and Kyle Williams have been MIA. Mac Hollins has been hit and miss. So the wide receiver position gets a C. Tight ends, giving them an A. Hunter Henry has been everything that you would hope for. His impact has been tremendous in the passing game. He has been a consistent weapon for Drake Maye. He has trust from Drake Maye. He has made a number of impact catches, big catches, the touchdown catch, the catch on 3rd down at the half-yard line against Carolina on Sunday. And I think Austin Hooper is the perfect tight end too. You can sprinkle him into the passing game like the tight end screen when he takes it for 20-plus yards. He's mostly been a really good blocker. So I'm giving the tight end spot an A, and I'm giving the offensive line a B+. The pass protection, especially with two young guys on the left side and then Ben Brown filling in for Jared Wilson on Sunday. Pass protection on the left side and from Garrett Bradbury has far exceeded my expectations. Doug Kyde posted the Patriots' offensive line now ranks 4th in Pro Football Focus's pass blocking efficiency metric. They've allowed 2 sacks, 7 hits, 26 hurries, and 153 snaps. My on-pace stats, 8.5 sacks given up, 30 quarterback hits. So Maye is on pace to be contacted 38.5 times between sacks and hits. He was contacted 113 times last season between rushes and dropbacks, so you could add the rushes if you want to. Even if you add the rushes, you get up to about, 50? He was contacted 113 times last year. Yes, scheme helps. Yes, the level of competition helps, but still, there's no denying this offensive line has been better. And I'm not going to sit here and blame them solely for the run game. They are 7th in the NFL in rushing yards before contact per rushing attempt. The running backs have had space. The problem is the Patriots running backs are 22nd in rushing yards over expected. You know what their rushing yards over expected is? 0. They have not gotten a single yard over expectation through the first month of the season. That's more of a running back problem. So B+ for the offensive line. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. Reach out to me on Twitter at NickC Radio. Don't forget to throw a comment in on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, pushing towards 7,000 subs. And for your second listen, get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast. You can find Tyler Rowland and Tony Wiggins there on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great day. And we will see you on the next episode for our Buffalo Bills crossover. Should be fun. Be well.